where I said that when I interview my business heads, for me, the most important thing when I look at people is that the person has to be greedy. Do you think it was difficult for you to market yourself out there?
Like I said, I've been a monk for so many years, and then obviously I'm not a monk anymore.
Why do you say you're not a monk anymore?
Of course, you have to follow the trends. You need to understand what's going on in Bombay, why people are so influenced by the West.
Kickboxing has actually done that change. That transition has come in my life where I think kickboxing is more dear to me than a cricket today.
And then if I get my next branch I want to open is in South Mumbai, and probably before monsoon.
2 weeks into it and you've already thought about the next.
Yeah, I
love that hustle already.
I made my 10-year plan already.
Was it difficult? Was it difficult for people to relate with what you're doing today?
So just to answer your question, I feel people are very much ready.
Wow, the most underrated Shaolin principle.
Combat.
It's underrated. Wow.
Because
I'm so happy hearing this.
People feel Shaolin monks cannot combat, but listen, let's not,
You mentioned about a co-founder, your partner. It's easy to find a partner when you've been doing this all your life as an entrepreneur. For a person who's as calm as you, what was that moment or what is that decision that actually led you to decide that this is my co-founder material, or this is the person who I actually can partner with as a co-founder? Because that's also a marriage. Right? I've been doing or building businesses all my life. For the last 16, 17 years, the only thing that I've done is build businesses. I've been investing in people and I know how that feels. What is that, how do I say, green flag as a partner for you that you decided that she is my co-founder, she's my partner material? Or was it the other way? Did she decide you being a co-founder?
So I've known her since childhood from the same school, just a 1-year gap. But like I said, I've been a monk for so many years, and then obviously I'm not a monk anymore because, as a monk.
Why do you say you're not a monk anymore?
Because there are certain precepts, certain vows and oaths that you have to adhere to and abide to when you leave the temple.
Okay.
And you're given with two options. If you want to continue your life as a monk, or you want to just be a Shaolin warrior.
Okay.
And in the Shaolin warrior, where you have the liberty of taking a path of grahasti zindagi jo bolte, like the family life. And when it comes to just becoming a monk, then you have to take more higher vows and higher vows and higher vows and oaths, where you become from a warrior monk, you become a scholar monk. There are these two types of monks. So I had the opportunity. I did get qualified that okay, I can test to become a scholar monk. But then doing so much of dhyan, so much of meditation practice, I got my answers, what my purpose is and how I need to cater my service, my purpose through my service that I do. Obviously, building Core Clubb is not the only medium. I'm doing many other things also where, medium is to spread knowledge what I have. And when coming back to your question with my co-founder, I have definitely chosen the path of, having a life where I would like to have a family at some point, because I've been away from family for many, many years. I renounced my family for 6 years of my life, 6 to 7 years of my life. And now I feel like, my practice and has got me to my purpose, and my purpose makes me align to accept that I want to have a family. Hence, my partner is my life partner. My partner is also...
Oh, is it? Okay.
She's also... she comes from a hardcore business background with a family. She's a third generation. Hence, of course, we never thought about that she'll help me with, how to position it, how to guide me. Of course, she's like the biggest compass and navigator for my life right now. And, looking forward to the endless journey that I'm going to have. But I feel like her... So there is something called as duality, right? We have duality, internal, external. So I think she is like the perfect balance for what I'm the opposite of her. So I think it's just like a hand in glove kind of a fit as people.
It's more like the conversation you were having before the camera started rolling, right? Where I said that when I interview my business heads, or when I'm hiring, or when I'm on the mode of hiring, for me, the most important thing when I look at people is that the person has to be greedy. Now, it could be my business head, it could be a co-founder, it could be whoever, but I know that my core value that I'm trying to find them is greed. Right? And we spoke about the greed aspect also at length, that the greed doesn't have to be about you trying to bring someone down. The greed has to be an internal greed, channelized greed, and that greed is extremely important, right? Because greed actually upgrades you in life. Do you think she's bringing that greed in your life with customers' perspective?
Oh, hell yeah,
A
definitely.
good grade.
Definitely. She's opened up and broadened my horizons in so many different ways to see it from the customer point. I was actually just going to see that, like, not seeing students anymore. Of course, I mean, a very integral part of my teachings.
It's emotional.
It's emotional, but like seeing customers in a way where, like we said, customers are king, queen, however, but I feel bringing the greed in a good way to understand that they are the ones who are going to drive your business, and you need to know it's not just about your revenue anymore.
Yeah.
It's about focusing on your cash flows, focusing about your net profit, and just look
Keeping
at your
a team happy.
keeping your team very, very important to keep your employees happy.
Yeah.
And of course, like, she is like a beautiful person and also a beautiful mind, and
This also shows you're absolutely in love with her, which is great.
Yeah,
Best of
yeah.
luck to you for that.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk about, it's not, so what you're doing today with Core Clubb is not something that's actually commonly available today to the world, right? As you said, it's boutique. Do you think it was difficult for you to market yourself out there? Was it difficult for public to relate with what you're actually trying to build for them or sell as a marketing perspective? You're bootstrapped. So that also brings me to believe that the marketing strategies during the initial stages are also planned by you. Was it difficult? Was it difficult for people to relate with what you're doing today as customers?
I was running the Shaolin Cultural Center since 3 years, but I was, like I said, I was the only, teacher over there, only, master over there. I never really thought of it as a business. For me, it was like, okay, I have to follow the curriculum. Shaolin has sent me from China. I have these set of students. They want to learn martial arts, archery, tai chi, and mental health. I'm doing that, my bit, my service, my purpose. But I never thought of like creating a larger impact and going more an extra mile of giving to people in different mediums and different mediums of communication. Hence, I think I was looking for revamping, rebranding, upgrading. Like, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? Hence, did a psychographic survey and study of all the customers who's come so far in the 3 years, understood the people around me in the 5 kilometer radius, had individual chat with most of the people. Of course, you have to follow the trends. You need to understand what's going on in Bombay, why people are so influenced by the West. Not many people really value traditional stuff much in Bombay because, we people are very much influenced by the West. So we're always copying there. We don't value yoga. So, I mean, Shaolin wouldn't be like that way. And also Shaolin comes from India. So I try to, present my mission of the Shaolin Center that I'm restoring the lost Indian culture. I'm still restoring the lost Indian culture. It comes from south of India, started by Bodhidharma, who traveled from south of India to China. Hence, 3 years was a very transitioning phase for me to see that, okay, I don't think I can do this alone. I feel I need to get people who can mentor me, who can guide me and help me navigate and, position this and plan this in a way that everyone who is into fitness and wellness as a whole understands and wants to come here.
Harsh, I had to ask you, what you're doing is also bringing discipline to the world, right?
Right.
And discipline in today's time is also extremely challenging. Like the person who I was and the person who I've become, we would, again, as we were speaking about my inclination towards combat, like I've been doing kickboxing for the last 2 years. I've been a disciplined person. I get up at 5:36. The world might not believe, but that's how I've become, right? I'm in bed by 10. It's not that I don't go out and party. I go on Saturday nights. I want to go chill with my friends, have a few drinks if I have to. But in today's time or today's day and age, keeping the Generation Z also in mind or the millennials like us in mind, do you think we're there yet to accept that discipline in our lives today? Because for me, discipline is extremely important today, right? If I don't consider myself to be disciplined enough, I don't think I can achieve anything in my life. I think my time is more valuable as a commodity than anything else that actually is in front of me. So I value that as my time is extremely important, and that's exactly why I'm very disciplined. Do you think today the world is ready to accept that discipline?
I feel today the health, fitness and wellness industry and people who are thoroughly following it are very much ready to take it up, to make that choice, to wanting to delve into taking care of themselves, taking care of their physical, mental and spiritual being. And I also feel that people are very, people are struggling and people are very much are very lost. So I feel like It's about just being at the right place and at the right time and finding the right teacher or the right studio or a center or a club where, those practices and those services can complement their lifestyle. So just to answer your question, I feel people are very much ready. It's just that they need to find that right thing in their life. And yeah, I feel like, we have so many different practices right now. Like we have yoga, we have Pilates, we have high rocks, we have so many things, Shaolin and Kalari and Taekwondo, MMA, kickboxing. There are so many schools of practices right now. And I feel anything that you commit to, your time and your focus and your determination, it will make you disciplined. It's a complementary factor.
I think combat, for instance, in my life has brought like drastic changes. I think I've calmed down as a person. Whatever anger of blood that I would say that I had as a younger guy, I think combat, kickboxing in my life has actually brought that calmness, that it's actually calmed me down as a person overall. I don't feel angry or upset to random stuff. Like, a random conversation could actually make me really upset once upon a time. But now I think I also have an idea of how much power my mind can actually control, because I know the power that my mind can actually generate, right? So it's actually calmed me down, and I enjoy this calmness. I enjoy the person I've become. I enjoy what it has actually done to me in a day and age, day-to-day life, and I actually cherish it. I'm really enjoying these moments. I enjoy combat. Cricket was my, love of sport, right? But I could today very happily say that kickboxing has actually done that change. That transition has come in my life, where I think kickboxing is more dear to me than a cricket today. And people who are close to me might not relate with it, is because they know how much passionate I was about cricket. But today, the more I dig deep into kickboxing, and every day I learn something new, I just think that this is what I should have been doing, or this is what I should have done probably when I was younger. But I couldn't do it, right? Because we did not have the access to do it. So, I feel discipline again, and as you rightly said, discipline in my life also is extremely important. And if the world is actually ready to accept that as a transition, I think it's a great thing that you're trying to do. Coming back to an entrepreneurial question, do you think social media today, especially the platforms that are actually easily available, like the Instagrams, Facebooks, do you think that is going to be your go-to-market strategy to generate more business, to generate more customers, to generate more brand positioning for you?
Definitely. I mean, like, digital marketing is such a strong interface for people to have. It does one of the strongest medium to communicate to people and reach to your audience. And of course, it's very fast paced. It has very short span of time. People 3 seconds, 8 seconds, 20 seconds. That's about it. What's going on right now as a trend. For, I think, entrepreneurs, I think LinkedIn is one of the biggest assets, I feel.
As an entrepreneur, yes.
Yeah.
As a business, you could say all three mediums.
All three mediums, of course. Yeah. Definitely. As a business, all three mediums. As an entrepreneur, of course, LinkedIn is there. But, with my background, with my expertise, since, I'm in a service-based industry, I'm not product-oriented. In fact, I am building a product which is purely hydration-based. Which is,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, very, very cool concept. Slowly, I will talk about that after.
Talk about that, yeah.
And, I feel like service industry says that you have to be out there in all the possible capacity and letting people know. Because, your scalability is only that much. Like for me, I have my micro and macro models already ready. So I know if I right now have a 2,600 square foot space.
Wow.
And then if I get my next branch I want to open is in South Mumbai, and probably before monsoon
2 weeks into it and you've already thought about the next.
Yeah, I
love that hustle already.
I made my 10-year plan already.
I wanted to ask you, I'm sure the entire Shaolin life and being a Shaolin warrior is comes with a lot of discipline, comes with a lot of culture. How are you actually adapting that in the new age culture that's actually already there in today's world? Is it difficult? Is it something that you're finding challenging for them to adapt and relate? Or what specialization do you guys have in creating that change and modernizing that entire art for them in a lot of way?
So, initially when I started the Shaolin Center, Cultural Center, that time we were presenting it in a very traditional way, and the concept was very one-sided and very narrowed. when we upgraded and when we transform it into a complete business narrative of Core Clubb coming into existence as a social wellness club, what we've done out here is the ancient philosophy, and we have bridged that with modern science.
Right.
Where of course, modern science just, gives you like a stamp that, okay, yeah, ancient philosophy is actually already spoken about it and it is true.
Right.
If you see a lot of things right now coming up, whether it's, from the AI side, whether it's from the NASA side, whether it's from the ISS side, like a lot of things are just coming into, confirmation from the science side as well right now, which is already there in our scriptures or the ancient practices that are there.
Of course.
So the way we present it is that we merge the ancient practice with the modern, philosophy, and we present it in such a way that it becomes relatable to all. So whether you talk about epigenetics, whether you talk about neuroplasticity, whether you talk about placebo effect, these are terms which are very like modern, but the practice of it on daily basis, Shaolin monks are already doing it even while they're sleeping. So when that ancient practice is already there and is rooted, and you present the modern science, which people are discovering now, people have become so curious to find out what works for them or what is out there, what is new, what can give them that edge. So this is like, Core Clubb is a space where, we provide this, we come as a bridge, and we give this mixture of both and a blend of both. And that's where I feel like, the modernization that I have adapted to, and in understanding and catering to people's needs and, solving their problem and what language they understand. That is the most important to me.
In one word, if you have to define Core Clubb, what is that one word you'd give out to Core Clubb for? Let's just say I'm a customer now.
Yeah.
And I ask you as a customer, how do you define your club in one word? What would that one word be?
It would be a one-stop wellness
Okay.
for your existence. And
For your existence. Lovely.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Now we come to the most exciting thing, or the exciting part of our podcast, which is the rapid fire round. Unfortunately, there's no hamper. We've got budget issues. But since you are the guest, you can give us a hamper if you'd like. We take it very happily.
yeah,
One word to describe your monk life.
stillness throughout.
A habit from the temple you still practice daily.
Gratitude,
Wow. The most underrated Shaolin principle.
combat.
It's underrated. Wow.
Because
Listen,
people
I'm
feel-
so happy hearing this.
People feel Shaolin monks cannot combat, but listen, let's not, put us in that
Anything-
position.
I think it's combat, right? I mean,
Yeah. It is purely-
It's pure combat.
I mean,
right?
we are actually, according to our oaths and laws, we're not allowed to enter competitions for combat.
Right.
But we are trained in such a way
it's
and
combat
groomed in
training.
such a way. It's combat training. It's for protection, no?
Of course.
Martial arts is for protection and self-cultivation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But अगर कल आप पर कुछ बाधा ही आ जाती है लाइफ में, if you fall into saving your family, your loved ones, or anybody who's into जिनके साथ अधर्म हो रहा है या which is like wrong हो रहा है, so you save and you get into that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Like today मुझे पता है कि जब मेरा ट्रेनर मुझे बोलता है कि सर आज किसी को अगर आपने मार दिया, for example, because we're training, right? And just out of a joke or courtesy. So my only response to him is, यार, today I know कि मेरा hand or my hands can generate so much power. Right? I know how much or how hard I can hit.
Yeah.
But from a situation where I know कि मेरा family is affected और मेरे family पे कोई problem है और मुझे पता है कि I have to not just use this as a power, but this as a power, I will use it, right? That's, for me, then that's not, there's no rule for it. Nothing comes beyond family, right? For me, extremely, as you rightly mentioned, the adhan part, where अगर कुछ गलत हो रहा है, तो you have to use
Stand
everything.
up for the righteousness.
Harder to master, movement or stillness.
Stillness.
Moment of peace, you'll never forget.
The day my leg healed, my leg, which I went to the temple for my therapy, it healed and I could sprint.
Were you like emotional about it?
Yeah, I was very emotional about it.
The most surprising thing outsiders don't know about the monk lives.
We are pure vegetarians. Many people have this thing that monks are non-vegetarians.
So do you have to be a vegetarian to join the Core Clubb?
No.
Okay, great.
You don't have to be a monk or a vegetarian.
Okay. A book, film or teacher that shaped you deeply?
My first Shifu, Sri Anfeng, who made me a warrior monk, he of course shaped me into becoming a warrior monk. A book that really changed and shaped my life is by Eckhart Tolle, one of my favorite authors, The Power of Now.
The Power of Now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And film that really impacted me and changed me, I think, as a person. There are so many films, but that really got my testosterone high or really high up there was I think drunken master Jackie Chan, because like his training, his resilience, and he coming from that pampered side and getting into hardcore like a thing. It really yeah.
A motto you've lived by today.
Always walk on the path of righteousness, no matter what.
One thing you'll never give up from Shaolin training.
My title.
Interesting. So here we are in conversation with Hurssh, a man with so much resilience, who's turned his life upside down, who's made it for himself, who's mastered his life in a certain way. That's been an absolute inspirational journey. If you want to know more about how he's done it, if you want to know more about where you can find him, where you can learn from him, you should come watch this video. And if you want to know more, you should like, subscribe and share.